Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. We are in studio today at Pearl Street Studio in beautiful downtown Burlington, Ontario. And I am so excited for today's special guest on the podcast, my dear, sweet friend, relatively new friend, Chloe Blakeburn.
Hi.
Chloe, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is a big day for you.
This is a massive day for me.
Let's tell everyone why this day is so big for you.
So this is a massive deal for me because I have really avoided any type of public speaking, and it's been my biggest fear.
I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. And we were just talking about this before we hit record, how I had reached out to Chloe, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago. I feel like I was away on one of my mastermind trips right before you went away on your big trip, which we are going to dive into. And I think I sent you a voice note.
Yep.
Yeah. And I had this idea, like leading up to this in-studio podcast day, thinking about who I wanted to connect with and have deep, meaningful conversations with. And you were at the top of the list.
I love that.
You did give me some resistance.
Did I ever?
Yeah, you made me work for it.
I said no.
Yeah, I got turned down real fast. But I really believe in Chloe, and I think she's doing really big, amazing things. And I'm obsessed with your self-love journey that you are on right now.
Oh.
And your business journey and self-confidence journey that I think today's conversation is going to be really amazing.
Yeah.
And this is your inaugural podcast interview?
Say that again.
Inaugural, like first-time podcast
First
interview?
time.
The competitive side of me, I love being the first. So this really works for me.
Yay.
So before we get into our like deep chats, why don't you just tell everyone listening, tell everyone in the community a little bit about you.
Okay. So I'm an online health and wellness coach, and I started my business a little over 2 years ago. And I'm actually a nurse, but I'm not practicing right now. And throughout my journey, it's been entrepreneurship has literally built me in the last 2 years, and it's been absolutely amazing.
And you are new to Burlington.
New to Burlington. I'm from Newfoundland.
Yeah. And your move here was 2 years ago, 1 year ago? Less than one.
No, 1 year and a half.
Year and a half.
November 2023.
Chloe and I met through a mutual friend, and we had a coffee date a couple months back, and I think we were at the coffee shop for at least 3 hours. It was kind of like coffee turning into like lunchtime, where I was like, should we get like a scone or another coffee or something? Because we're also here for a really long time, and I'm getting hungry. But I know we had a really deep connection, and we relate on quite a few things. Some of which are highs, some of them are, I don't want to say lows. I mean, they are lows, but we've extracted some big learnings and life-changing moments from them.
Absolutely.
So let's start first about your business. Let's learn a little bit more about like Fit by Chloe and what this beautiful business of yours has done for you and the community that you have fostered.
Yeah, so I really I wholeheartedly thought I was going to be a nurse, and that's the journey that I was going on. And then I started sharing my own journey on Instagram, and people were super inspired. They were asking me questions. They wanted advice. And I was like, oh shit, like I could do something with this. So I was in my last semester of my nursing degree, and I was like, I'm going to get certified. I'm going to do my personal training, and I'm going to get my nutrition course. And I did it. And then I just continued on and sharing my journey. And once I was certified, that's when I actually took on a couple clients for free. And then I kept growing day by day, just putting a little bit more work into it. And then eventually I had a business.
Amazing.
And it was just growing like really quickly. And I think it was because I guess I lived that lifestyle. I was really good at showing people that like, you got to show up for yourself. Like you got to do the things that you're telling yourself that you're going to do. You got to keep the promises to yourself. And people believed in me, right? And they wanted to work with me. So it continued to grow. And my boyfriend, he's actually a very successful online coach, and he taught me everything I know. My first year of business, he he taught me everything. He was my mentor, and he said, Chloe, you need to just look at it like this. You need to look at every single person and just try to do your absolute best with that person. And that's all you need to do. So that's what I did. And by having that approach, it's still my coaching philosophy now, I've just been able to deeply connect with my clients on like such a good level. So it's been really beautiful.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. This is so amazing.
Yeah.
And are you currently taking on more clients?
I have a waiting list.
You have a waiting list? Excuse me.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a good answer to that question.
So right now I'm manifesting an assistant coach. I haven't really looked for one.
Okay.
I'm not at that point yet. Well, I am at that point.
Yeah. I have been manifesting / I need it now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that's I'm manifesting. So that's gonna
amazing.
happen soon. Yeah.
And you get to work in the comfort of your own home
Yep.
or like Wi-Fi freedom.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I just love the fact that I can do it from my home. And because I started my business when I was in nursing school, or just at the end of nursing school, actually a little bit after that. I did my certifications at the end of my degree. Yeah. And then
Hustling.
Yeah, hustling. Oh my God. I was a child and youth care worker at the time as well. All through my nursing degree, working 24-hour shifts. Like it was a grind. I grinded. And a lot of people think that success, like they see like your success and they're like, oh my God, she's so lucky. And I have grinded to get to the point where I'm at. And so have you, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think that being able to share my journey is super cool. So I really appreciate you just having me here. And the fact that I'm like sitting here across from you. A year ago, I would not have imagined that I'd be here sharing my story. So thank you.
I'm so proud of you and thank you for being here. Let's talk about that for a second about like the grind. And I think we live in such a interesting world right now in the world of social media that people open their phones, they get to see all these things of this like pretty girl and like nice accessories or like the hottest luggage and you're going to exotic places. But on the back end of that quote unquote lens is a lot of hard work and hard decisions, challenges, wins, losses.
Trusting your gut.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
What did that look like for you when you were finishing nursing school? What would your days look like? Would you, do something in the morning and then school and then your certification course?
Yeah. So what it looked like for me is I would go to nursing school. Well, my day would start the night before. I would be packing all of my meals, my gym clothes, everything. I'd go to school. On my lunch break, I would eat my food in my car. And then I would go and train or I would do cardio so I could go home and study and then work my part-time job. It was a grind. The 4 years flew because, I was constantly working.
Was there something that stood out for you in those 4 years as a big lesson or big takeaway that has had a positive impact to where you are now and success of your business just, 2 years into it?
I would say my ability to connect with other people and my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I really did not show until like this last year. I operated from, I guess, my ego. I'm going to say, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was operating from kind of like a surface level and I felt like a disconnection from how I was operating because I knew I had like this gentle side of myself that my family got, my friends got, and so did my clients. But on social media, I was just this badass girl, like work hard, nothing else, like grind, grind, grind. But I felt this huge disconnect. So in the last year, I've really opened myself up and shown that side of myself and have been really vulnerable. And it's opened me up and a lot of things have happened.
I love this. It's like soft girl season, but like a different version.
Yeah.
Because you're not a soft girl. You're very like rock hard, fit girl, but like emotionally soft. And that's so beautiful that you recognize something in yourself and that there's a call for it, an opportunity, and that people have obviously very clearly connected with that version of Chloe.
Yeah, so much more. I wouldn't say so much more because I think that like that masculine side of myself is what like got everything done and connected with people in a sense. But now that I've established myself, it's fine to, I guess, open myself up.
It's so interesting you reference like masculine energy, especially as an entrepreneur, that one of our trainers at the gym, who's I know a friend of yours as well, Jess, had asked me the other day about like for me personally, like with feminine energy. And I'm pretty like girly girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love pink and
Yeah.
a lot of girly things, but it was such an interesting question that I feel like I need to circle back on. I don't think I answered it
Yeah.
succinctly
Mm-hmm.
because it was such a good question about how I navigate, masculine and feminine energy as an entrepreneur, that I think entrepreneur energy can very much skew masculine energy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
With hard decisions, quick decisions, how you make decisions versus the feminine. And that's something that I actually want to sit with myself and think about, and how I can pour into that version of me and that energy of mine as an entrepreneur that's also in business with my husband.
I feel like you do a good job at balancing both the masculine and the feminine. I really do. But like in a sense of like creativity, like that's something that I've really struggled with before, when I was just operating out of my masculine and I didn't have any time for myself. It was just like client, go, go, go. And the way that my system was all set up, there was no time for me. There was no space for me. And I really couldn't connect with myself. And therefore I couldn't be authentic. And therefore I couldn't really connect with people. And I wasn't confident in the content that I was producing.
What a ripple effect.
Yep.
Okay, so how did you change that? What was the first thing you did to change that?
Oh, the first thing was to hire a mindset coach.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And how long have you been working with your coach?
I'm not working with her anymore. I finished my 6 months.
Okay, 6 months though.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And what did that process look like for you to recognize that I want to hire? And Matt and I we were recording before you got here, and we talk about this all the time about hiring and getting in rooms and outsourcing. So what happened for you to get to the point where you recognize that I want to hire a coach, or I want to attract something, whether it be, an assistant, or I want to go to a mastermind or hire a coach? What did that look like for you?
This is a lengthy one.
I'm here for it. We're cozy on the couch.
We're going to get deep.
Let's do it.
Okay. So obviously I'm from Newfoundland and I moved here, and it was something that I was really excited about. I thought it was going to be amazing. But prior to that, I did deal with a lot of grief, and I lost my father to cancer, and both of my dogs passed away, mine and my partner's. And I didn't really process anything that happened. I was just going like at full speed, just continue on. You know what it's like. It's being an entrepreneur. Like it's just hard to slow down. When you get that momentum, you're just like, go, go, go. And when I moved here, I was alone a lot. I didn't have friends, and I isolated myself. And the more that I isolated myself, the more negativity was brewing inside of me. And eventually I became depressed. And that's something that I don't take lightly, because I've never ever dealt with depression in my life. I've dealt with anxiety, but I've never ever dealt with depression. And it's always been hard for me to kind of relate to people who have depression, because I never experienced it. But I know how that feels now. And I didn't want to do anything. I isolated myself. I couldn't stick to a routine. I was in a rut. I was just struggling internally so much, and it affected my outer world. And me and my boyfriend at the time, like, we were struggling because, he's an entrepreneur as well. He's very busy himself, and I couldn't really carry myself. And there was just a lot of tears, a lot of sadness, a lot of emptiness. I felt like a shell of a human, and I sat with that for a while. I was like in this victim mentality, like, why me? Why me? And it affected everything in my life. So, wow, this is a journey.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
is a journey.
yeah. So that affected everything in my life. And then I remember I needed to I was sick of my own shit. And I was like, I need to figure something out, because if I vibrate on this low frequency, like, I am going to attract the wrong people. And I know how important it is to have that higher energy and be around people who have very high energy. So then I started running. I couldn't get myself back to the gym yet. So I started running, and that started like just getting back to my roots, because I used to run when I was younger. And
happy memories, like happy connection with running.
Yeah.
Good endorphins.
Yeah.
Good
Getting back to
energy.
like that, I guess, inner child, like just like running and being free and everything.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And then I kind of like opened up a little bit that I was struggling. I just said I was in a rut, but I didn't really say all of it, because how do you do that? And a lot of people connected with that. And I was just like, okay, so vulnerability breeds connection. Wow. Does this mean I have to be more vulnerable?
Yeah. How vulnerable are people like, what's the scale that they're looking for?
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I need to get myself back to normal. So I started feeling a little bit better with running. Then I got into like a normal gym routine and I started eating properly because I lost my appetite. And then I remember I was at the gym. I was just finished a leg day and I was so proud of myself. And I got in my car and I just sat there and I just cried. And I just had like this thought come over me and it was like, no one's coming to save you. And I was like,
I have to take action.
I have to do this myself.
Dang it.
Oh God. And then that's when I was like, all right, I have to pivot.
Outsource and get some support.
Get some support, absolutely. And I've always been very hyper independent, and I'm sure you have gone through that.
Of course I can do this myself.
Yes.
I don't need anybody.
Exactly, but I definitely needed help. So I started going to therapy, and that was very helpful. And then I saw this girl, Chelsea, and I just loved her energy. And I didn't know much about her program. Everything that she was talking about in her content, I was like, that's me. Hey, that's me.
You're talking to me.
Yes. And she's really good at marketing, really, really good. But anyway, so I reached out to her and I joined her mindset program, and we would do bi-weekly calls and then bi-weekly group calls. And just to get into a room with a bunch of girls who are dealing with the exact same things that I'm dealing with. Like, I didn't realize that. Like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm all alone in all these struggles because my boyfriend over here is a powerhouse and
he's fine.
He's fine.
His feelings are just fine.
Yeah, but I was just struggling.
And that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Especially, and we're a lot of the other girls in the program also entrepreneurs.
Yeah. All of them.
There's a lot that comes with being an entrepreneur. And again, like that shiny object syndrome, like on the back end of that, it's the hard conversations, you could have months with no revenue coming in. Then you could have like months with amazing revenue coming in, but balancing everything, that it's a lot. And I think also finding the balance of how much you share about that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Is a interesting one. And I don't know even for myself, I don't know what the exact formula is.
No one does.
Yeah. And if you have it and you're sitting on it, please share, because Chloe and I would like to know. But I mean, first of all, thank you so much for sharing all of that.
I know.
That was so like deep and personal.
Yeah.
So, and I would imagine also resonating with a lot of people listening.
Definitely.
That can listen or watch this story. So you started working with Chelsea.
I started working with Chelsea, and we worked on limiting beliefs. We worked on essentially like healing. And when my dad passed, like I already said, I didn't really process any of the emotions. So when it hit me all at once, all right, I have to figure out what's going on. So going through a healing journey, you have to first feel safe within yourself. And I went like 2 years without feeling safe within myself. I had no rituals, no practices, no ways of really connecting with myself, except for going to the gym and strength training. Like that was like my main thing. And she really taught me to like slow down and to like, I started doing meditation every morning, deep breathing, journaling. I've always been a journaler, but I wasn't really consistent and I didn't get deep. So these are things that I've been doing like consistently for my morning routine, and they're so powerful, so very powerful. And mirror work as well.
Mirror work.
Yes.
Like where you talk to like positive affirmations in the mirror and you tell yourself how much you love yourself.
Yes. Yes. And it's so uncomfortable. It's like looking at yourself in the mirror and talking. Like I avoided that for so long. But when you get to a point where, you're building success in your business and you're afraid of that, you're so used to holding yourself back and keeping yourself small in a attempt to keep yourself safe. And that's what I was doing for a long time. Well, not a long time because I'm still new. But.
Okay, what's your relationship right now with with yourself, but with mirror work?
Oh, God.
I love a mirror. Me and mirrors were besties.
Okay, so I think that, going through my journey through my 20s, I tried to hate myself into loving myself. So, yeah, and I think a lot of people relate to that. So I went through like cutting phases and building phases and cutting phases and building phases. And every single time I'm like, okay, I'm going to love myself now. I'm going to love myself now. And it didn't matter if I was in a building phase or if I was super lean. Like I still had the intrusive thoughts that would come up. So I really realized that, that like I have to fix like the inner, like how I talk to myself, right? So like we all have an inner bitch voice.
Yeah.
And mine's Betty.
Betty. She sounds like a bitch.
She can be a bitch.
Bitchy Betty.
That's a great one. Yeah. She can be
So
a
original.
bitch. I recognize her now and I'm like, okay, thank you for being here, but I don't need you. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I don't need you. So that's been like a big thing, just kind of like disconnecting from the intrusive thoughts that, were leading all like the decisions that I would make, right? And the actions or the not actions that I would take.
Mm-hmm.
So just really trying to learn how to have a positive mindset. And it didn't like happen overnight. It was just so gradual and like it wasn't linear. It was like one step forward, two steps back, one step forward, two steps back. And that's the reality of trying to heal and, after you go through a lot of different things. So it was and still is a journey that I'm so excited to continue. It's going on a healing journey. Like you really get connected to yourself. I don't know if you're spiritual at all.
Mm-hmm. I'm on the woo scale.
I'm like a little bit on the woo scale.
Like kind of woo adjacent?
Yes. Like
Okay.
I'm not fully there. So like when people start talking about like astrology and stuff and I'm just like, what?
Oh yeah, I'm beginner woo because I have the CoStar app, but I don't understand it.
Okay.
I don't know my moon rising and where the sun's setting. I'm a Capricorn and like where the moon and suns are, but
yeah, no, I don't know any of that. But when I went on my retreat, that's what they were talking about a lot, and I was just like, oh my god,
there's so much out there, and I think there is so many fascinating ways to measure ourselves as humans on a deeper scale. Like, I love knowing everyone's love language. What's your love language?
Well, I actually found out that when I was on my retreat that it is physical touch.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was, but it is, and positive affirmations and gifts.
Quality time and gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much words of affirmation.
Yep.
And quality time.
Yeah.
Those are mine. And I like knowing even like the girls, we're currently an all-female team at Benchmark.
Yeah.
That I like to know everyone's love language because I think that's also how you can, build and nurture relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the Enneagram, like that 1 to 9 scale. Like what are you? And then what are your wing numbers?
I don't know any of that.
That's fascinating as well. And that's, I think, really powerful in terms of working with, business partners or your team, your romantic partner, and you as a human, that I'm what they would call a number 3, that's an achiever, which is not shocking. When I learned that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, let's dive more into this.
Yes. And I can't wait to learn more. And one of the women in my mastermind this year, she's an Enneagram expert. And she just I'm saying diagnosed. I think that's not probably the right term, but she identified me very quickly, like 3 minutes. She's like, oh yeah, you're this, this, this. And what she said, I was like, that actually all resonates without knowing too much about it.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating now as entrepreneurs or just hungry young women in business and in life that are curious to understand how we operate and how we can always be better.
Yeah, I know. And before, that wasn't even a fascination for me until I opened myself up to this mindset program. She introduced all these different concepts that I was like, whoa, why have I never ever thought about this? But for one, I just didn't have the awareness or the knowledge or the time, right? So with working with Chelsea, she was like, all right, Chloe, we need to make changes to how you do things. You need to not be doing check-ins every single week with the amount of clients that you have, because you have no time for yourself to even learn or nourish your clients the way that you want to and educate them. So we made shifts into my in the way that I do things, and I wouldn't have been able to go on my little soul journey if I didn't change that. And now I have so much more education and knowledge and just experience that I can take to my team, which is beautiful.
Probably what they say too, that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Never.
So if you were operating in a, super fast-paced lifestyle and business and you have a thriving business, but you have an empty cup that you can't pour positive Chloe energy into your relationships with your clients, your life partner, your friends, your family, and yourself, the relationship with yourself that, as you have so eloquently and beautifully shared, has been a journey that you have to do things that light you up. And I know that you and I both share this love of fitness, and that for me is a non-negotiable. I know that I will always be the best version of myself in a day and in a week if I have my workouts.
Absolutely.
And I'm so grateful that my brick and mortar business is a gym. So that is what I get to do every day.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I still pay a trainer. Like I have 3 paid training sessions a week because that's important to me.
I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I train with Jess, our trainer, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and obsessed with it. And I like having someone tell me what to do. It's also efficient as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And I've also gotten to a point where I think people really respect my time, that, things obviously do happen, but for the most part that we can get through our full 1-hour training session as a paying client.
Yeah.
And that it's something that's very sacred to me. I will not book meetings during that time. Like I know my training times and that's what I'm sticking to because it's important to me. And that's how I will be the best version of myself for my community, for my husband and business partner, family, friends. Yeah. Even when I was just away with my mom about a month ago.
That looked beautiful.
And it was so nice for quality time and trying to, explain to someone that you love and care about that I am going to get up early because I want to see the sunrise. I want to go move my body. I'm not following my normal training plan. I just want to move my body for 45 to 60 minutes because I will be the best version of myself for our day together. Yeah. And I think having some of those conversations with people in your life and circle is important.
It's important, and sometimes it can be hard.
It totally can.
Yeah, I've had to make so many set different boundaries within my business, and
not everyone's gonna like them.
No, not at all. I had to change my business hours because I need my mornings to myself. Because when I was really struggling, I would wake up in the morning and I would check my phone, and I had no ritual, nothing. And I would just take in all of this information, and I was rippled with anxiety. I was having panic attacks quite often. I was like, this is not good. I'm not living. The fact that I was having so much anxiety and I was safe in my environment, but I just wasn't safe within myself. So I had to make a lot of adjustments with that, with my morning routine, and then, not, I guess, answering my clients in the morning and just making sure that I'm exercising and I'm doing things for me so that I can show up as my best self.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.